Two lads who were twins, and they were a lot like Fred and George in the sense that they're quite naughty. One was really great at cricket, and the other one was really good at science. And when it came to like the finals, there was a science exam, and the guy who had a sporting exam, and he chose cricket for that exercise. The guy they switched, right, and had a row. And I promise this is true. The science guy came in the next day. He'd the lad who wanted to do, the guy who was good at science did the other brother's science exam, and you get it right. So the guy came in the next day, went to see, how he got on. He got head teacher right now, go and see the head teacher. His brother had argued with the umpire, called him, the other brother who was doing the cricket, had argued so much with the umpire that he got him suspended. So, when we were coming to do Fred and George, like, Carl and Chris.
Hi. I was wondering if it gets annoying being grouped as the twins or the Phelps, if you're not just James and Oliver. Does it get annoying that you're always bunched together?
Tiny bit, that's what we're sitting on, didn't we?
Yeah. It was actually a deeper request for 2 seats. It depends really in what context it is. Obviously, at things like this, we understand that people will want to see guys who were Fred and George. But like in day-to-day life, we're quite good at something our mates and everything are very good at calling us individually, which is a very important thing, especially being twins who are always striving for your own identity and that type of self-assurance, I suppose, of yourself.
Hi, I was just wondering if you ever got sick of each other, like when you were filming or you were travelling together for the past 10 years.
Which time? Yeah, a couple of times, but it's like anything really. When you're growing up with your siblings, you can have a bit of a falling out every now and then. But I think that's a good thing with our relationship. It's a very, come back to each other the whole time, and as if nothing's happened. Which in one way is very good if you're travelling with each other the whole time. There's no grudges ever held or anything like that.
Hi, I was just wondering what it was like to film the Quidditch scenes.
They were good. They were... The technology moved on so quickly when we were doing it, so the first one was essentially like a roller coaster. Prior to any things I've ever said in interviews when we actually went skydiving and shot it that way. The other ones were, and then eventually it came so you would literally just move in like that much, and then they moved the cameras around you and everything. But it was really cool to do, and because obviously you've got all green screen and then a big guy with a tennis ball just going. So when you see the final production, it's pretty impressive to watch.
Hi, I was just wondering, if you had to choose between Daniel, Rupert or Tom, who would you cash, marry or swap?
I'm not really that way inclined.
I was just wondering, if you were faced with a bucket, what would it turn into in front of you?
Probably a rat. It's a horrible thing about that.
Might be screaming children on aeroplanes.
Hi, just as actors, what would you say like your ideal role you would want to play would be? Like of anything?
There's so many. I actually did a stage show at the start of this year, which was my first ever one. And I was actually cast as the lead, and I left the stage once in 2.5 hours. And I did 41 monologues and in 3 weeks. And to top it off, the story was essentially a guy who wanted to become Woody Allen. So I had to learn it in a New York accent, and I had to sing and everything. But doing it was so much fun, and being on the stage was so much fun, because if you mess up, you can't just stop and say, okay, we're going to do this again, and remember, you have to get your way out of it. And so I think something like that, because it was such a silly play anyway, we had a lot of good fun doing it. One guy who were doing it, who's supposed to reveal the big story at the end, 2 of his parts started with the same 3 words, and he essentially went from page 51 to 61. So we were kind of standing like, okay. And then we ended up just using it in the story that we said, okay, but if you two have actually read the script, and said it, how would you do it? So it was quite fun to play a character that you could just throw off like that. Actually, one guy's phone went off in the audience once, and I ended up getting him on stage and answering it.
Nice chap. I think just like a light-hearted characters are really cool to play. I mean, a baddie is good because people get really peeved at watching baddies. Quite easy to stoke people up, but I mean, like Fred and George would be ideal characters, really, wouldn't it? Like a rebellious side in general, which they could have done. So yeah.
How did you film the broomstick flying scenes?
Yeah, like I was saying, there's so many different ways. There was one way when you're on like a big wire kind of thing. Another one when you were just on a rig, just moving, and it's essentially more of a camera moving around you, and they mapped all the stuff in after it.
Out of all the pranks that you did in the Harry Potter movies, have you ever played one on anyone in real life?
What, like Fred and George did?
Yes.
Those pranks? Not really. I have thought about blowing up a toilet, but I never really did it. I suppose I fed my friend at dinner and it acted like a Skyler snack box the next day, apparently. That's about it.
Hi, my question is, what was your reaction when you found out you got it wrong?
See, it's really, I'm going to sound like a bit of a what's it when I say this, but I was actually trying to ring my friend for a game of golf. And as I was going to the phone rang, my mother answered it, and it was the casting director saying, "Is that the mom of Fred and George?" And my mum was a bit, "Oh, I think you got the wrong number." So that we were told it was kind of, because it was such a long process, so we went through about 6-7 auditions.
Yeah, and I think we'd already started to think, they must be liking this if they keep calling us back. I think being naive at that age, you don't realise how many people are going for these parts. So when it came through, it's like, oh great, that'd be nice. It's saying, and James was calling his friend about organising a tea time.